If I put this wig in my head, it's over. If I put this wig in my head, it's over. If I put this wig in my head, it's over. But you bitches, cause that bitch finna be mad, okay?
Year-old Rashawn Wallace has been arrested in connection to a shooting that left one man dead. Now, the shooting happened around 11 this morning in the 5300 block of Brook Hollow Drive. Now, 33-year-old Damian Reed was pronounced dead on the scene. Wallace is being charged with murder. Now, this is still an open investigation, so if you have any information on this crime, you are asked to call Crime Stoppers or JPD.
On February 23rd, 2025, inside a home in Jackson, Mississippi, something serious happened between a man and his wife. The man was 33-year-old Damian Reed. The woman was 30-year-old Rashawn Wallace, a nurse. They lived together as husband and wife. That day, a simple Facebook notification led to something that could not be undone. The issue started with friend request. Rashawn received it on her phone. Damian saw the request and wanted to know who the man was. He began asking her questions. What began as a question turned into a verbal argument. The two stayed inside the home while the discussion became louder. It moved from a normal conversation to a heated exchange of words. No one else was present inside the home. Rashawn later told police that Damian became upset during the argument. She claimed he walked toward her in a way that made her feel unsafe. In response, she got hold of a firearm. It was her gun, and it was registered under her name. She fired the first shot into the air. That shot did not hit anyone. Despite the warning shot, Damian continued walking toward her. That is when Rashawn pulled the trigger again. This time, the bullet hit Damian directly in the stomach. He dropped to the floor inside their home. Rashawn then contacted 911. She gave a brief report of what had just taken place. While waiting for help to arrive, she stayed on the call. Emergency services arrived shortly after. When they got there, Damian was unresponsive. Law enforcement officers entered the home and examined the scene. Damian Reed was confirmed dead. The body was found with a single gunshot wound. Officers located the weapon near the scene and confirmed it belonged to Rashawn. The investigation began immediately. Officers questioned Rashawn at the location. She told them what happened. Her version was that she acted out of fear. She was then taken into custody. There were no signs of a physical struggle. The house was mostly in order. There were no broken items. Rashawn had no injuries or visible marks on her body. There were no witnesses inside the house. No surveillance footage was mentioned in the initial police report. Rashawn Wallace was arrested on the same day. She was taken to the Hinds County Detention Center. She was later charged with second-degree murder. A bond of $50,000 was set by the court. Her legal team said it was a case of self-defense.
A woman who allegedly shot and killed her husband was given a $50,000 bond in Jackson Municipal Court today. Police say around 11:30 yesterday morning, 30-year-old Rashawn Wallace shot and killed 33-year-old Damian Reed after he allegedly attacked her. It happened on Brook Hollow Drive in Jackson. Wallace is charged with murder.
The case is still open. Investigators are continuing their work. The court has not yet decided what will happen next. The full truth about what occurred in those final moments is still not completely clear. There are details that have not been released to the public. There are still questions about what happened before the gun was fired. Only 2 people were in the room. One of them is no longer alive. The other is telling her version of the story. But whether it matches all the facts is something still under review. If you enjoy real crime stories that uncover the truth, don't forget to subscribe. Your support helps us share real cases, spread awareness, and give a voice to those who can't speak for themselves. Before we begin, let us know in the comments, where you're watching from, and what are your thoughts as the story unfolds. Welcome to True Crime Tales, where we reveal the crimes that shock communities and the secrets hidden behind closed doors. These are real people, real events, real consequences. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Now, let's begin. Damian Reed was a 33-year-old man. He lived in Jackson, Mississippi. He was born in 1992. He lived in the same area most of his life. He was known by his neighbors and some people who worked with him. He did not travel much or move around a lot. He kept his life simple and stayed close to home. Damien was a man who liked to work with his hands. He did manual jobs. This means he worked with tools, machines, and other physical things. He was not someone who worked at a desk or used a computer for his main job. He did jobs that needed body strength and skill. He worked in construction. This means he helped build houses, fix walls, and repair damaged buildings. He also worked on roofs, painted rooms, and cleaned work areas. Sometimes he worked as a handyman. If someone had a broken pipe, leaking sink, or loose door, they would call Damien. He came with his tools, fixed the problem, and got paid for it. Damien also worked in a car repair shop part-time. He helped change tires, check car engines, and fix small car problems. He worked with other mechanics. He was not the boss of the shop, but he did his tasks when called. He was not a certified car mechanic, but he learned from working and watching others. Damien did not go to college. He finished high school. After school, he started working right away. He did not take special courses or training, but he learned through experience. People said he was skilled in fixing things. He kept his tools clean and ready. He did not advertise online. Most of his jobs came from word of mouth. He did not own a business. He worked for others or worked on his own when people called him. He did not have an office. He worked at the location where the job was needed. He did not wear uniforms, just regular clothes. He carried a tool bag and sometimes drove an old truck to carry materials. Damien did not have any known criminal record. He was not arrested before. He was not involved in any court case. There was no record of him going to jail. He was not listed in any police report before the shooting. He had no history of violence or legal problems. He also did not have any civil court issues. He was not sued by anyone. He did not sue others. He had no record of unpaid debts or property disputes. He lived in a rented house with his wife. His name was not on any business or property listings. Damien was married to Rashawn Wallace. She was a nurse. They lived together in the same home. They had been married for some years. There were no reports of past police visits to their home. No court documents showed any protective orders or complaints between them. Damien did not have any children, based on available records. He was not married before. Rashawn was his first and only wife. There was no information about any past serious relationships or long-term dating history before Rashawn. Damien was not active on social media. He had a Facebook account, but he did not post often. His account showed pictures from old jobs, a few shared posts, and comments on other people's photos. He did not have Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok accounts based on available records. Damien had a few close friends. He was not known for attending large events or being part of clubs or public groups. He stayed at home or went to work. He visited his mother and two sisters sometimes. They all lived in the same city. He had no known health problems. There was no record of any hospital stays or long-term sickness. He was able to do physical work daily without issue. He did not take medicine or report any medical conditions. He was known in the neighborhood as someone who could fix things. He was called the handyman by some people. He came when people needed help and left when the job was done. He was paid in cash most of the time. Rashawn Wallace is a woman. She is 30 years old. She lives in Jackson, Mississippi. She is an adult female with no known health problems. She is a citizen of the United States. She has a home address in a residential area. Her place of residence is a house, not an apartment. Public records show she has lived in Mississippi for several years. She works as a nurse. A nurse is a person who helps take care of sick people. Nurses work in clinics, hospitals, or homes. Rashawn Wallace has received nurse training. She completed her education to become a nurse. She has a nursing license. That means she passed all tests needed to work in the medical field. She follows safety rules and medical steps at her job. She works full-time. There is no public information that she lost her job or was under investigation at work. She has a clean record. That means she has never been in jail before. She has no record of being arrested. There are no records of any crimes under her name. Police records and court records show no reports or complaints against her before. She has not been to court before for any criminal case. She is not known to have been involved in any legal problems before. There are no public reports of bad behavior in her workplace. She is married. Her husband's name is Damian Reed. Public records show they are legally married. There is no record of divorce or legal separation. She lives with her husband in the same house. Both names are connected to the home address. They have shared utility bills and other household items. Their names are both listed in public property records. Rashawn Wallace is a legal gun owner. She has a firearm registered in her name. It is a handgun. The weapon was not illegal. She followed all rules for owning a gun. She has the proper paperwork. There are no records that she bought the gun from someone illegally. She did not report the gun stolen. Her name is listed in the gun registration files. She kept the gun at home. The gun was stored in a private area inside the house. She owns a phone. She uses the internet. She has a Facebook account. She uses social media for personal reasons. There is no public report of online crimes under her name. She has no record of cyberbullying, threats, or scams. Her internet use is not restricted. She uses social media like many other people. Her online accounts are linked to her real name. She has a driver's license. She can drive a car. Her license is valid. She has insurance. Her car is registered in her name. She does not have a history of traffic crimes. There are no tickets, no driving suspensions, and no accidents that led to legal trouble. She has a bank account. She has credit cards. There are no public reports of money problems. She is not listed in any bankruptcy court. She is not under any loan fraud investigations. She has no known financial crimes. She makes a regular income from her nursing job. She is able to pay bills and buy personal items. Her credit score is not public, but no court reports suggest financial hardship. She is not known to use drugs. There are no public drug charges under her name. There are no reports that she was seen using illegal substances. She does not have a record with drug testing centers. She has not entered any drug rehabilitation program based on public health or court data. She does not have a known mental health history. There are no court documents showing mental evaluations. She has never been sent for a mental health exam by a judge. There is no report of therapy, hospital stays, or medications related to mental illness under her public records. She has no known travel outside the country in the last 5 years. There is no record of a passport application or international travel. She has not been stopped by border control or flagged at airports. On February 23rd, 2025, something very serious happened in Jackson, Mississippi. A woman named Rashawn Wallace shot her husband, Damian Reed. This happened inside their home. The day started like a normal day. There were no reports of problems in the morning. No calls were made to the police before the event. Rashawn Wallace is a nurse. She was at home with her husband, Damian Reed. He was 33 years old. They had been married for a few years. On this day, both of them were at home when they started to argue. The argument began sometime in the afternoon. Based on police reports, the argument started around 2:30 p.m. It was caused by a Facebook friend request that Rashawn received on her phone. Damian saw it and began asking her about it. The argument got louder. They were both shouting. There were no witnesses inside the home, but neighbors said they heard yelling from inside the house. As the argument continued, Damian and Rashawn moved to another room. At that point, things became more serious. Rashawn took a gun from somewhere inside the house. She later told the police she was scared. She said Damian was walking toward her in an angry way. She did not leave the room. She stayed and pointed the gun. At around 2:45 p.m., Rashawn fired one warning shot. This shot did not hit anyone. It was meant to scare Damian. But Damian kept walking closer. Then Rashawn fired again. This time, the bullet hit Damian in the stomach. He fell to the ground. He was bleeding. He stopped moving. He did not talk. After shooting Damian, Rashawn called 911. The time of the call was 2:47 p.m. She told the operator that she had shot her husband. She also said that she needed help fast. While waiting for the ambulance, Rashawn said she tried to do CPR on Damien. CPR is what people do to help someone who is not breathing. The 911 operator gave her instructions on the phone. At 2:55 p.m., police and emergency workers arrived at the house. They found Damien on the floor inside the home. He had one gunshot wound in his stomach. He was not breathing. Paramedics checked him and tried to help, but it was too late. At 3 p.m., Damien Reed was pronounced dead at the scene. That means the medical workers said he had died. The police took control of the house. They looked for evidence. They found the gun that Rashawn used. It was a legal gun. It was registered in her name. The gun was taken by the police and placed into evidence. There were no other weapons found in the house. There was no sign of anyone else being involved. The officer spoke to Rashawn at the scene. She did not run away. She stayed in the house. She told them that she shot Damien because she was scared. She said it was self-defense. But the officer saw that Rashawn had no injuries. There were no bruises or cuts on her body. Nothing showed that Damien had attacked her. Because of this, the police arrested Rashawn Wallace on the same day. She was charged with second-degree murder. She was taken to the Hinds County Detention Center.
A woman who allegedly shot and killed her husband was given a $50,000 bond in Jackson Municipal Court today. Police say around 11:30 yesterday morning, 30-year-old Rashawn Wallace shot and killed 33-year-old Damien Reed after he allegedly attacked her. It happened on Brook Hollow Drive in Jackson. Wallace is charged with murder.
The gun was held as part of the investigation. 2:30 p.m. Argument began over Facebook friend request. 2:45 p.m. Warning shot fired. Then Damien shot in the stomach. 2:47 p.m. 911 call made by Rashawn. 2:55 p.m. Police and medics arrived at the scene. 3 p.m. Damien pronounced dead. Same day, gun recovered and Rashawn arrested. After Rashawn Wallace was arrested for shooting her husband, Damien Reed, the police took her to jail. She was placed in the Hinds County Detention Center in Jackson, Mississippi. The law says that when someone is arrested for a crime, they must go to court within 48 hours. This is called a first court appearance. Rashawn Wallace went to court 2 days after the shooting. The judge looked at the police report and asked her some basic questions. Rashawn did not speak much during this time. She only said her name, her age, and her job. The judge read the charge out loud. She was charged with second-degree murder. This means she was accused of killing someone, but not planning it in advance. Rashawn had a lawyer with her in court. A lawyer is a person who helps someone with legal matters. The lawyer spoke to the judge and told the court that Rashawn acted in self-defense. Self-defense means that a person hurt someone because they felt they were in danger. The lawyer said that Rashawn was trying to protect herself when she shot Damien. The lawyer said Rashawn told him she felt scared. She said Damien was moving toward her during the argument. She fired one warning shot into the air. Then she fired another shot, which hit Damien in the stomach. He later died on the floor. The police report also said that Rashawn called 911 after shooting. She tried to help Damien before the ambulance arrived. She did CPR, which is a way to push on someone's chest to help them breathe. But when the emergency workers got there, Damien was already dead. The judge listened to both sides. The police said there was no proof that Rashawn was hurt. They said they did not see any bruises or signs that Damien attacked her. But the lawyer said Rashawn should not stay in jail while waiting for more investigation. The judge decided to set bond at $50,000. Bond is money someone pays to leave jail before their trial. If they pay the bond, they can stay out of jail while the case is still going on. If they do not come back to court later, they lose the money. Rashawn's bond was not high for a murder case. Most murder bonds are more than $100,000. But the judge said there was no sign she would run away or cause more harm. After court, Rashawn was taken back to jail. She may stay there until someone pays her bond. If the bond is paid, she will be allowed to go home. She will still have to return to court when told. The court has not given a trial date yet. A trial is where a judge or jury listens to the full story, looks at all the proof, and decides if someone is guilty or not guilty. Before a trial can happen, Lawyers need to collect more information. They must look at all the reports, listen to any recordings, and speak to all witnesses. Witnesses are people who know something about the case and can tell the court what they saw or heard. Right now, the case is still under investigation. That means the police are still looking for more facts. They want to make sure they know everything that happened before, during, and after the shooting. They're also checking if anyone else saw the fight. They will study the 911 call, the gun, and all messages between Rashawn and Damien. The lawyer says Rashawn is not guilty. The police say they still need to finish the work. The judge has not made a final decision. Until the trial happens, Rashawn's case is not over. The court must wait for more proof. No one can say for sure what will happen next. Damien's family did not agree with Rashawn's story. They believe that Damien did not deserve to die. They asked the court to give justice to Damien. They said he was not a violent man. His mother and sisters said they wanted to know the full truth about what happened that day. They said they wanted the law to take action and not allow Rashawn to go free without a proper trial. Damien's family said they believe Rashawn could have avoided shooting Damien. They asked why she used a gun. They said she could have walked away, called someone, or left the house. They told reporters that Damien was not someone who would hurt his wife. They said they had never seen him act in a dangerous way. They also said they did not know about any big fights between the couple before that day. Rashawn's family had a different view. They supported her claim of self-defense. They said Rashawn was afraid for her life. They said she only used a gun because she thought Damien was going to hurt her. Rashawn's lawyer said she fired one warning shot first, but when Damien kept walking toward her, she fired again. That second shot hit him in the stomach. Rashawn's family said she did not plan to kill anyone. They said she was scared and acted quickly. They also said she had no history of hurting others. They told the court that Rashawn was a nurse who worked hard and helped people. They asked the judge to understand that she was not a danger to others. Most problems are not as big as they feel in the moment. Feelings like anger, jealousy, or fear can come and go. But when someone uses violence, the result does not go away. It is forever. Arguments happen in all relationships. But when people don't control their actions, they can destroy lives fast. That's why it is important to stop and think before reacting. A quick action made in anger can change everything forever. Don't use a permanent solution for a temporary problem. Walk away, talk it out, or ask for help before it becomes too late. If you found this story as gripping and heartbreaking as we did, don't forget to like this video and share it with others. And if you want to hear more true crime stories that uncover the mysteries behind these tragic events, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell. You won't want to miss our latest stories, updates, and discussions. Thank you for joining us on this journey to seek justice and explore the truth. Together, we can make a difference. Until next time, stay safe and stay aware.